I started meditating when I was a teenager in response to cluster headache. One of the doctors had suggested trying meditation and biofeedback and some other different things just to try and get control of the pain when I was in the middle of one of those. I've always been what I call like a deep thinker. I enjoy thoughtful conversations and reflections. Meditation really fit in with that. It really gave me an opportunity to be at home with my own thoughts. I have come back to meditation throughout my life. I've used it again in pain response, and I've used it a lot when I've found myself in difficult situations and I need to focus and I need to be mindful about a very specific thing. So that's really where my meditation journey began.
My own experience with meditation began much more recently than Jennifer. In my 60s, I still had not ever meditated. I would often joke about meditation to friends, and I would say, "Hey, I'm going to meditate," and I really meant I'm going to go play guitar, I'm going to go take a nap. But I saw the benefits that meditation really had made in Jennifer's life. And I also had an exchange student, Marco from Italy, had gone to medical school, but he's very interested in holistic medicine, everything associated with that. And he had often talked to me about meditation as well. I think one day, about a year ago, I was talking on the phone to him, and he was talking about meditating, and we got into a discussion about it, and I asked him some of the benefits for him, how it was changing his life, affecting the way he lived his life. He had some very positive things to say. So when I got off the phone, I asked Jennifer, I said, "Hey, what do you think about us meditating together?" And she kind of smiled. I think she was pleased. That really began my experience with meditation. In that year since then, I would say there are very few days that we haven't meditated. So I'm going to talk to you today about my experience, but I'm in no way telling you that I'm an expert. So if you're an experienced meditator or you're into meditation and you hear me say something that doesn't sound quite right, it just reflects my 1 year experience.
I had taken up meditation again and was practicing regularly and really appreciating the mindfulness of it. And I was heading out on a trip to China by myself. I had gotten a mindful travel journal, so it really was with meditation in mind, and I was really enjoying that and had done a whole lot of journaling on the airplane over. I arrived in Beijing and was immediately just sort of overtaken with the pollution, and I got sick. I was scheduled to go to Huangshan and Xihai, which is the Grand Canyon of China, the Yellow Mountains. I got up there. It was hard. It was high altitude, cold weather. It was really chilly. You take gondola up to the top and then you have to hike in, and I had reserved a hotel room up at the top. I hiked into my hotel, got settled, blue sky, beautiful, but crisp and cold. I went out and decided to do a little bit of exploring. Ended up on one of the trails that takes you to the bottom of the canyon. So it was about 6 p.m. that I got to the bottom of the canyon. My legs were spaghetti. I was dead tired. I'd already hiked in that morning, and then I'd been hiking for about 5 hours and was overjoyed to find at the bottom of the canyon there was a funicular that would take you back up to the top of the mountain. So I got up to the top of the mountain. It was probably just beginning to get kind of that golden hour of the day, sunset-ish, but not dark. And I realized I had no clue where I was. I had come up in a completely different part of the mountain than I had gone down in. I don't read Chinese, and I didn't have a clue where I was. I didn't recognize anything, and I just started off walking ended up probably about a mile away from where I'd come up the funicular and realized I didn't know where I was going. It was getting cold and it was now dark and I didn't have a clue where I was going. I tried asking people. They didn't speak English. I didn't have a translator that worked because my phone didn't have any reception. I was beginning to feel really stuck, and it was beginning to thin out. There weren't people around anymore, whereas at the beginning when I'd come up the funicular, there had been some folks. My knee was really hurting. I wasn't exactly sure I was limping in the right direction even, and I finally found a sign, and it said Shihai 7 miles. I don't know if that meant Shihai Hotel or Shihai, my starting point of the trail, 7 miles at night in the cold with my knee. I was scared. And you need to understand this is all up and down hills and mountains and stairs to get wherever I thought I was going. At one point, my knee just gave way. I couldn't put weight on it anymore. So I got down on my butt and I'm scooting along, and this gentleman and his wife stop me, hands me his walking stick. I needed the walking stick. I wasn't going to make it. On the trail, ice was forming. Anywhere where there had been water, there was now ice. I did have a jacket on. I was cold and scared and just not sure where I was going. Jennifer, what are you going to do? And it was like, you're going to go inside. You're going to get your strength together. You're going to do this. All you need to do is move forward. That's your word. That's it. That's your focus. Forward. Every butt scoot, every step forward. That's all I had to do. And every time I would fall, or every time I would stop, or every time I would get scared, forward. That was all I had to do. It was the most mindful, cognitive meditation I have ever done. It took me 3 hours. I saw a building. It wasn't my hotel, but it was a building. These 2 little girls were taking a break. I just was so excited to see people. I probably was near tears. Off in the distance, I can see another building. Shihai Hotel. The girls let me hobble using them as my crutches the entire way. We entered from the back side of the hotel. I had literally walked from the front of my hotel down the trail, down the canyon, come back up the funicular on the back opposite side of the canyon from my hotel, walked the 7 miles and got to my hotel from the backside. I've never been more grateful. I've never felt such incredible relief. And the only way I got there was that mantra of forward, forward. I have used that at other times in my life. That cemented my meditative practice.
So let me tell you about my experience with meditation over the last year. I've had some medical issues I have to say that a couple of those things have really weighed on my mind. I also retired 3 or 4 years ago. For those of you who don't know me well, I was in government for over 30 years, mostly as a city attorney, but the last few years before I retired as a city manager. I didn't realize it at the time, but those jobs were really quite stressful. And honestly, it wasn't until I retired and I had that first weekend where I sort of realized, wow, I'm going to be starting work on Monday and with weight of the world on my shoulders. So I knew that I had been dealing with a lot of stress in my life, and frankly, meditation was one of the tools I really hope to use to deal with that. And so what I have experienced in this time is just some profound changes on how I feel about my life, how I deal with stress. I'm sleeping better. We meditate in the morning and usually at the evening, around 9 in the morning and at 9 at night. And when I'm doing that, I get very focused. I clear my mind, and I found that the tools I use, not just when we're meditating, But the rest of the day, if I'm having something that's just one of those things that you begin to worry about, I've been able to use the tools of meditation to just stop in the middle of the day and do things like breathing and focusing and just kind of clearing my mind. It doesn't mean you stop thinking or you stop analyzing it, but it's really, for me, it's about mindfulness and being in the moment, whether I'm working on a computer or playing guitar, recording something, working with software, being with Jennifer, whatever. I try to be in that moment, and I try to let some of those other thoughts, maybe that I would have worried about in the past, just not fill my mind at that point. It really has worked for me, and I think a side benefit is it's something that Jennifer and I do together, and we talk about it. We use a guided meditation. One of the things that our guide in this process talks about at the end of the meditation is remember why you're doing this and who stands to benefit from it. And obviously that's myself on one hand, but it's also the people that deal with me in my life and the people that I have a relationship, family and friends. And honestly, I hope people that know me and are seeing this video will think, yeah, I've noticed some differences in him. He seems calmer, more grounded, in a better place. And I'm a firm believer in meditation. Nobody's sponsoring this video. It has made a profound difference in my life, and it's something that I do talk to my family and friends about, and I say, have you tried meditation? I mean, real meditation. And I encourage them, just as I encourage you, if you're watching this video, to give it a try.